Welcome to Health Matters on Channels Television, the show that gives you information that could help you make informed decisions about your health. It's good to have you join us. I am Yomi or Taigbi. When you need to access medical services, what form of payment do you choose? Paying directly out of pocket or via health insurance, which is a pooled system where premiums cover costs? Today, we'll turn our attention to healthcare financing, the options available, the challenges and prospects, plus how far Nigeria has gone with universal health coverage. Do stay with us on the program. Thank you for staying with us. Imagine having to liquidate a life savings to treat a sudden illness, or a child's education is sacrificed to pay for a parent's surgery. This is the situation for most people, according to the World Health Organization, that says that about an estimated 4.6 billion people worldwide who are not fully covered by essential health services, and for the 2.1 billion people who face financial hardship due to out-of-pocket health expenses. In Nigeria, out-of-pocket expenses is set to represent about 75% of total health spending in the country, with less than 5% of the population having a form of health insurance or another. How can Nigeria improve on this number by getting more people to enroll for health insurance? These and other questions for my guest on the show, who is a leader in public health with more than 3 decades of experience spanning primary health care, health logistics, and system strengthening. He currently serves as head of mission at the Center for Wellbeing and Integrated Nutrition Solutions, Dr. Mustafa Mohammed. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much for your time on the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. Good to have you with us, Dr. Mahmood. According to the World Health Organization, universal health coverage means that all people have access to full range of quality health services they need, when and where they need them without financial hardship. So my first question is, why is health insurance seemingly unpopular in Nigeria?
I think this is a tough one, but let's put it succinctly, because if it's all about affordability and about access and also reliable quality insurance, then how come it is not very popular in Nigeria? I think if we quiz ourselves from that perspective, we may be able to find the answers easily, because to my mind and from our experience, I think most people are not aware of it, are not aware of the benefits, and in fact they looked at perhaps health insurance as some kind of another tax. Meanwhile, it is actually health protection for you. I think, to me, from my own perspective, these are some of the reasons why people are not aware. It's not that there is any kind of religious sentiment or cultural sentiments against it. I think we have just not popularized it very well. And secondly, insurance all over the world should be marketed. We need to just market it. Market it every corner of the street you turn, you see it. Get it on the social media. Use barcodes. I am happy that the National Health Insurance Scheme now has, the National Health Insurance Authority now has a barcode that you can just click on and you'll get all the information you need. I think that's the step in the right direction already towards creating that general awareness. But the media has a role to play. We need to tell people there's health insurance available in this country that can protect them, not send them into hardship, as you have said. Sickness should not send you to hardship.
Okay, you've said that people might think that, this is another form of tax. And, of course, that's why you said the media has a role, and that's why we are doing that today. So tell us about, what it entails when we talk about healthcare financing, particularly health insurance.
Okay. So health insurance is a simple principle, because it doesn't take too much to understand what health insurance is. is simply how do we pool all our resources together in one pool so that we can benefit from it and those who suffer illnesses can tap into it and do not have to pay cash at point of care or point of use. Because to pay cash at point of care or point of use means in some instances you have to kind of sell off your assets, just as we have said. And it's not easy to turn assets into liquid cash at that point when you are in the balance. So people need to understand that this is a mechanism that allows every one of us to contribute into that pool. And then when sickness befalls any one of us, we can easily draw from that pool without having recourse to selling off your livestock, selling off your produce. In fact, some families have to go without food just because they need to go that way. I think that principle should be very well popularized so that people look at it as contribution for the time that I am going to be sick, and which no one of us can predict that. We cannot predict that. Government on its own also needs to put into that pool. So it's not just the people that are contributing. Government needs to put in a lot to provide that health services that are actually also affordable and of good quality and accessible. Accessible means I don't have to go very far. I don't have to travel from my village to the headquarters of either my local government or state headquarters to access the health services that I need at the point I need them. Imagine if I suffered a snake bite, and in one of the villages in Kaltungo, where snake bite is quite rampant, and I have to travel all the way to Gombe to get health care. In fact, by the time I get there, it will be too late, because you need a journey of, let's say, about 3 hours to get to Gombe, to get antivenom. So this health insurance is about also tackling your health emergencies at the point when they occur. And take another instance. You travel, and there's a car accident, and you didn't prepare for that. Trauma, injuries, bleeding, shock. Where will you get money? In fact, you're unconscious, so you don't even know where you are. So somebody got to help you. So these are the real practical situations I think we have to look at. And this is what insurance means. So from that pool, with your insurance, any health facility that is accredited as nearby will just attend to you immediately without asking you for money or where did you come from or who you are. Because the first thing about health is save that life, protect that life. Then any other thing follows. So I think from that perspective alone, we've covered why it is very key. And if everybody is mandated to contribute into the scheme, and government also plays its role in providing the facilities and the infrastructure that is needed in the health centers, then we are good to grow. We are on our way to getting it there.
Okay, some people might be watching now thinking, okay, this is just for the formal sector. If I'm a trader or I'm into business,
so
I'm not,
there are several
it's not
schemes
for me.
available. So there are several schemes that every one of us can key into. I know there are about like 5 schemes that I'm aware of. If you are employed and you are engaged in the formal sector, then there is the formal sector insurance that you can key into, where you contribute a certain percentage of your salary. I think it's 5% of your salary that you contribute, and your employer pays 10%, and it's put into that pool, and you are registered, and you have a service provider. There is also the informal sector, where if you are not in any kind of engaged employment, right, then you can apply and pay some premium, which is around, I think, it used to be 22,000, but I know recently there has been a review, and it's been changed to like about 32 or 33,000. I'm not very sure of the figures now. I was trying to collect the correct figures today, but it differs also from state to state, that you can pay with you and your family, and with every additional dependent that you add onto that, you are able to get some discount on an annual basis. The waiting period is just basically 3 months. Now there are moves to make the waiting period just less than 1 month by the time you have finished processing you and everything. There is also a scheme for youth couples if you are a youth couple and you're in youth service. There's also a scheme for tertiary educations. So you are a student, you are in one of the tertiary institutions, you are studying. You also have a scheme that can cater for you. There's also a scheme where employers of labor in the organized private sector that have more than 10 employees can also pool their resources together as a group and get health insurance. So there are several of these schemes. I think all we just need to do is share that barcode with every Nigerian and tell them and say, look, scan this barcode and you hear what you want. I mean, I obtained the barcode before coming, and by just scanning this barcode like this, you just get to all the information you need with respect to insurance and which category you go. Now, we on our part, I think, and this is where I think government also needs to actually sit up in trying to make sure that the kind of care we provide are quality care. Make payments and enrollments very easy for the people. Set up the systems that allow seamless payment. You don't have to travel far for you to be validated. I mean, we're in the age of Internet of Things. On the palm, in your bedroom, you can do all these things. You can register. You can get marketers and agents spread across the whole country, helping people to also register into this scheme. I think if we do that, we're on the right trajectory. And I'm sure that the agencies concerned, which is the National Health Insurance Authority, are already doing some wonderful moves around that. The insurance now is mandatory, so the agency has a responsibility as a regulator to also try to see how they can enforce it. And you have 36 health insurance schemes all across the country now, plus FCT. Every state has one. So it is getting closer and closer to the people. One of the missing pieces, I think, is making sure that the service providers, all our primary healthcare centers, are accredited as service providers. And here you have a little hitch, because these primary healthcare centers are still very weak. They don't have the requisite numbers of staffing that is required. And this is a function of all the subnational governments. They should provide the doctors, the midwives, the nurses, and we allow all these people to drain, allowing them to go on brain drain, when we are supposed to employ them so that they can serve all our ward facilities. Government has made effort to say, okay, we have about 8,300 that we are going to rehabilitate and do that. Put it into action. Health insurance is not about office work. It's about field work. It's about community offices, community people, helping that mother. I think that's what I can say for now. I don't want to say many things.
Yeah.
So these are some of the issues.
Let me just remind our viewers that they can join us in this conversation. If you have any questions or comments, you can call 0808 054 2233, 0808 054 2233. Doctor, you mentioned something about the primary health care, which is very key because that's the closest to the people. And when we talk about health financing or health insurance, for those who manage to be on it, they also sometimes complain about the quality of service and how quick that service delivery is. Let's speak to that too.
So what we have in the country as a policy is that at least in every political ward in the country, there should be at least that one primary health center that functions very well, effectively for the people. The government has promulgated the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, in which direct financing to the facilities is available. However, what we do have as operational funding to these facilities are not oftentimes fully utilized and brought to bear. So you still have the facilities in a state of disrepair. You see, have inadequate staffing in the facilities. The facilities are understaffed. Basic infrastructure to make a facility run, the commodities, what will I call them? The diagnostics are still not there. If electricity as an infrastructure or water is not there as an infrastructure, then delivering health services becomes a little bit more difficult. And this speaks to the overall pool of funds that is available for all these activities. Since the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund was established, by now there should be about at least 600 billion naira into that pool. Now, as I'm aware, less than 1/3 of that money has ever been even allocated or to be disbursed.
Okay, Doctor, please hold your thoughts. We'll come back to that. Daniel is joining us.
Where are we with that?
Daniel is joining us from Lagos. Hello, Daniel.
Stanley, I didn't say Daniel.
Okay, Stanley.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Go ahead, please.
Now, for the elderly, what is the scheme for us?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Now, for an elderly man, what?
Are you trying to ask if the elderly too can be on health insurance?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you so much, Stanley, for your time.
Okay.
And question.
Thank you.
Did you get that, Doctor?
The elderly are also catered for in the service. I think the Give Me's does not say which age you are. There's a Give Me's program that the health insurance has where you can pay for yourself and pay for your dependents. And you can enroll yourself, whether you are in employment or not in employment, on that and enroll number of people that you want to cater for. And in that tranche, you have like about 4 tranches for retirees because those are likely to be elderly that have exited the former pool. So a transition system exists for them to transit into that Give Me's and then get the benefit that they deserve. Your children that have come of age, there's also a pool for them where they can go into the tertiary scheme easily or go to youth service scheme. And I think there is also a pool where politicians can also help the community and bring and enroll the community onto the pool. As I think the constituency pool is there also, that they can sponsor this number of people. However, I think most importantly, you have the Vulnerable Group Fund, which government has established under the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund for the indigent, especially mothers and children who are very vulnerable and indigent.
Okay. We have Musa. Sorry, Doctor. Let's quickly take this from Musa. Hello, Musa.
Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us. Your question or comments, quickly.
Okay, so actually, I'm actually enrolled on a health, and I notice every time I want to access the facility, the service I get is first very, very poor. And then secondly, I notice that every time you go to this service, it seems to be there is a specific kind of, drug they give you. It doesn't matter what the problem is, they just give you an analgesic, they just give you basic painkiller. And then I know that at the end of the day, they charge.
You pay the premium.
So yes. Is there a way that is there a way that they audit this thing to be sure that as an end user, I'm also able to say, okay, at the end of this month, within this period, this is what service I got and this is what drugs I have.
All right, Musa. Thank you so much. I think we've asked that question earlier. Doctor, could you quickly speak to what Musa just said, which is about the quality of service? Quickly.
Musa, I feel your pain, and I actually very also worried as a civil society organization. These are some of the points that we're taking up with this theme for this year's activity. that you should be able to access quality services. It should not be a question of that when you go, it's only painkillers that you are given. I think what we all need to do is to create that awareness, and the NHIA has to kind of wake up to enforce the rules. There are rules for the health management organizations. There are also rules for the health service providers, so that they can sit up and provide the quality services I think they need. There is also a quality index I'm sure they have developed that they use in tracking and monitoring. And there are some community feedback mechanisms that has been established recently. How effective these systems are working, I cannot say. But I want to believe that if Kelechi is hearing me, they should sit up and make sure these systems are working.
All right. Thank you so much.
Because we cannot continue to entertain these complaints.
Yes, it's very, very important for people to get quality for the premium that they pay. Thank you so much for your insights on health matters. We've been having a chat with the head of mission at the Center for Wellbeing and Integrated Nutrition Solutions, Dr. Mustafa Mahmood. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Let's go over to our news corner for the latest in the health world.
People living with disabilities, particularly members of the Spinal Cord Injuries Association of Nigeria, are calling on the Ogun State government to urgently reenact and gazette the state disability law. This call was made in Abeokuta, the state capital, at a press conference addressed by the interim national president, Spinal Cord Injuries Association of Nigeria, Abdul Wahab Matepo. On behalf of the group, Mr. Matepo calls for the establishment and activation of the State Disability Commission and a dedicated budget line for disability affairs to guarantee their rights and ensure the inclusion of the about 15% of people living with disabilities in Ogun State.
We want the government to go the whole hog and just complete the whole process. Enact the law, they enact the law, sign it, gazette it, and make it operational. A promise that is delayed, that is denied, is a burden. A right that is ignored becomes oppression. Ogun State is too enlightened, too educated, too blessed, too advanced to allow more than 50% of its population to be mishandled, to be denied their human rights for no reason whatsoever.
Health caregivers, women, especially nursing mothers, converge on the Nainawa Primary Health Care Center in Damaturu, the Yobe state capital, to attend the flag-off of the second round of the state's 2025 Maternal, Newborn and Child Health Week. The exercise features free health interventions across 356 health facilities, as well as house-to-house visits by the health workers. The exercise offers the opportunity to reflect on achievements so far, identify the remaining gaps, and renew commitments to improve health outcomes for families across the state.
For this round of the MSH week, 9 essential interventions will be delivered across the state through this fixed post, 356 fixed posts in our community, in our health facilities, and over 400 SOD teams that will be going around households.
And finally, a new joint report from the World Health Organization and the World Bank Group has revealed that since the year 2000, most countries across all income levels and regions have made concurrent progress in expanding health service coverage and reducing the financial hardship associated with health costs. These two indicators are the foundation of universal health coverage, which is the global commitment that everyone, everywhere, can access the care they need without financial hardship by 2030. The UHC Global Monitoring Report 2025 shows that health service coverage, measured by the Service Coverage Index, rose from 54 to 71 points between 2000 and 2023. Meanwhile, the share of people experiencing financial hardship due to large and impoverishing out-of-pocket health payments declined from 34% to 26% between 2000 and 2022. However, the report cautions that the poorest populations continue to bear the greatest burden of unaffordable health costs, with 1.6 billion people further pushed into poverty. Overall, an estimated 4.6 billion people worldwide still lack access to essential health services, and 2.1 billion people experience financial hardship to access health care, including the 1.6 billion people living in poverty or pushed deeper into it due to health expenses.
You can find out more about health insurance from any hospital or primary health center closest to you. Thank you so much for your time and contributions on the show. Let's do this again next week. I am Yomi Otaiwe.